I will procrastinate. As you mentioned, I'm not a lazy person. When things need to get done, I'm going to be on it, but I will procrastinate. I'm also one that I'll feel like, okay, well, let me start this here. Let me do this project. Let me do this project. So I'm jumping from thing to thing just to feel like I'm being productive. And then I crash in a way of which I'm watching TV. I'm not doing anything.
Hmm.
And it's not that there is anything wrong with that. I'm just taking my attention to something else, and it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like that is helping me either. It's just like a
Right.
distraction from what is really going on at the
Right.
moment.
Yeah. Hey y'all, welcome to Trusting Her Journey. Hey Felicia,
Hey,
how you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. How are you feeling?
I'm doing good. I got a
Little tickle in your
little
throat.
something.
You know, it's that time of the year where all of the germs are floating around.
Hmm.
So, make sure you stay on top of your secret that you gave me last time, the throat coat, that
Oh
tea.
yes, yes.
Girl, that helped me out. So,
That's
I
some good
hope
stuff.
I hope you're taking your own advice. Good
Cheers.
job. Good job.
Mhm. Yes, this cup has been my bestie for the last couple of days, but we're gonna make sure that we take care of ourselves, just like we've been encouraging our listeners to. This
Mm-hmm.
episode is so personal to me, and I know it's personal to Felicia because we've been living it.
Mm-hmm.
We had, and still have, every intention of coming back sooner than now, and being consistent with how we put out our episodes. And then life, dot,
Mm.
dot, dot. Like
Yep.
holidays and family and kids and work and everything just happening at once. And January is crazy busy for me because all the people I love celebrate birthdays this month.
Same.
Right, same for you, Felicia, right?
Yep.
So today, I want to talk about what to do when life gets in the way of the stuff that I'm going to say it this way, the stuff that I really want to do.
Yeah.
Not that I don't want to do any of those things that I just mentioned that are associated with the roles I have. But just as a woman, sometimes there's just other things you want to do that you want to prioritize,
Yeah.
and life happens, and you just can't prioritize those things. And we want to talk about how to keep going, how to not quit, and if you have to do like a reset or a pause, how to come back without shame and without guilt, without needing things to be perfect. Some
Yeah.
of us have a lot of goals, and we have a lot of faith because we love God, and life keeps interrupting. And so if you've been tired of starting over, been beating yourself up, I think this episode is going to be beneficial. It's going to be helpful.
Yeah, I also believe that this episode can be helpful for any woman who feels like, or you've said, I fell off again. I'm not on track. I am not keeping the promises that I made to myself or I've made to myself before. This is for you because we don't want you to believe that you're doing something wrong. We know
Right.
what it feels like to try and stay consistent, to try and keep up with our goals. And as you mentioned, life just keeps happening. So
Yep.
we hope that you continue to listen to this episode because we feel like you're in the right place.
Yes. Yes. So, Felicia, share with us. Well, let's just talk like it's just me and you, like nobody
Okay, I like that.
else. As you are moving through this new year, what is one real, and there may be multiple things, but try to see if we can point out one real life thing that has disrupted your routine more than you expected it to?
Mm. Let's see. I feel like there are a few things, and I'm just going to say it without giving the disclaimer like I normally try to, but, and justify my response. But I will say I was not prepared for some of these days off from school and daycare for my kids. Like, I feel like it really did disrupt how I navigate the start of my new year. And for example, over the past few years, I didn't do like a vision board. I didn't write out like New Year's resolutions, but I really did spend time processing what worked for me, what didn't work for me, and what I would like to see more of,
Mhm.
as I continue into the new year. And when we returned home from the holidays, from visiting family, I just felt like, oh my God, I cannot get myself together. Like, my daughter was out of school for a few days during the first week, during last week. So it was kind of like, okay, how do I get back into the routine? How do I hold space for making sure I'm intentional with her while also trying to get back in the gym, because that is like my stress reliever. That's one of my safe spaces. How do I sit down and plan goals? How do I plan for my business? I just felt all over the place. I'm not even gonna lie. It
Yeah.
felt truly chaotic. So I was trying to jump back in, but I did not know how to jump back in. So that that interrupted me in the start of my
Mhm.
year. And if I can be honest, I'm still trying to find my footing. I'm still trying to figure out what that looks like, even as we enter the second or third week of the year.
Yeah, I think that's a real um, difficult thing to navigate for a lot of moms, even if you have a spouse or
Mm-hmm.
partner.
Mm-hmm.
Single moms, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I can only imagine because it is hard, even when two people are doing it
Agreed.
together. And I would say this, so my daughter is in the fifth grade, so this is essentially my fifth year
Mm-hmm.
navigating that. And every year is different. Every year, I either make a change to my schedule or routine,
Mm-hmm.
or I make a change to her schedule and routine, because our needs are different, or I recognize something didn't work,
Yeah.
or will no longer work just because of the age and stage that she's at, or just where we are in
Yeah.
our life. Um, but yes, the school being out, I love my daughter being home for school. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the parent that's like, oh, I can't wait for the kids. I'm just not that
Yeah.
mom. I
Yeah.
love her being home. And it's a lot. She's
It's a lot.
only, so it's the three of us. And so
Mm-hmm.
I am her entertainment.
Yes. Yes. And that's the thing. I'm so glad that you mentioned that. I love that, number one, I have the option to keep my kids at home with me when
Mhm.
school is closed, because I know everyone is not afforded the same flexibility with their schedule. So I don't take that for granted at all. And I love that it's, intentional time for me and her to do things like, hey, let's go here. Hey, you want to go eat here? And it's a lot of energy.
Yes. Constant
It's constant
energy.
energy, it's constant playing, it's constant
Mhm.
like, let me be beside you. And so,
Mhm.
because I know me and the way my attention span is these days, girl, I be all over the place like, oh yeah, I need to do this, but I also need to do that. So that interruption really caused things to kind of shift for me, and also put a pause on the way that I move through
Yeah.
like my month and setting my intentions and setting my year up.
Yes, I agree. For me, it was more than I expected because I know I expected things to be a little lighter because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, she's getting older, and
Yeah.
no, she wanna do all the things.
Yeah.
She still spend a little bit more time on her own, yeah,
Hmm.
but it's like that. What do they call it? Parallel play. So she wants me to be in the space where she don't want to play with me. She don't
Yes.
want to talk. She just want me to be in the room with her. So it's like, mommy, what are you doing? You work, you got client. And so a few years ago, I decided that I break. That is when I do my winter rest and reset.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't even see clients during the weeks that she's out of school. And that does help
Yes.
um, things to not feel as chaotic
Hmm.
because she does want sorry, real life, because she does want my attention. And I thought, she's 11. Like, there's no way we still had to do play dates. We still,
Yep.
we still had to do all the things.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that to be my primary concern of the thing that was
Yeah.
my biggest disruption. I
Yeah.
am grateful. I'm grateful.
Yeah. And I'm glad that, I'm hearing you say that because it feels good to hear that another mom experienced some of the same feelings
Mhm.
around it. And like knowing that your daughter is older than Nola, it's kind of like, okay, so this is what I could potentially
Yeah.
look forward to. But this also kind of highlights the idea that sometimes, the interruptions that we experience in our lives, they don't always have to be considered like dramatic or
Right.
something big.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like everyday life stressors that occur that we are trying to navigate, and you don't have to ignore them or even sweep them under the rug because it's not something that is viewed as like this major life event that happens. It's
Hmm.
still life that exists,
Right.
and it causes things to shift and change. But even thinking about that, I am curious to hear from you when life interrupts, like what's the first thing you kind of start telling yourself in your head?
Well, I was thinking about when you were talking, I was thinking about when you said that it's not always dramatic. Because for me, sometimes I catch myself and I won't ask for help, or someone I care about, a friend will message me, "Hey, what's going on?" And oh, everything's good.
Mm-hmm.
Because the default sometimes is to compare to what other people may be going through. See how earlier I made sure I was intentional by saying, "Well, but I'm grateful though,"
Yeah. Yeah.
because a part of me still has to remember that just because I'm talking about what's happening, it doesn't mean I'm complaining. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean I'm grateful. I don't have to say that I'm grateful. God knows in my heart that I am.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes what I'm telling myself is, oh, it's not a big deal. You really shouldn't be concerning yourself with that. Other people have more things going on in their life, more dramatic things, more traumatic things, more stressful things. Your life is actually really good. Don't start complaining. Like, these are the things I start telling me. How dare you complain?
Yeah.
Just it'll be fine. Just
Yeah.
get over yourself. Things that are just not helpful. Things I
Yeah.
would never say to anybody else. And it's not, oh, you just have one kid, so you don't get to complain. All of these things that just are just not healthy and are borderline toxic, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the kind of stuff. So it's not even the interruption necessarily. It's the spiral that starts to happen with what I start telling myself. And then I'm wondering why I'm feeling overwhelmed. Well,
Yeah.
you've been trying to figure all this out on your own when you could have just taken a minute to have a conversation with a girlfriend and have some laughs, just take a break from momming.
Yeah.
And maybe it would have given you what you needed to get through the rest of the day. What about
Yep.
you?
Similar, and it's what you said, like you should be grateful that, you have the flexibility to keep
Mm-hmm.
your children at home. You have a home. Even in the beginning, when you first asked me the question, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna start with the disclaimer around, but I love my kids, but I want,
Yes.
that's truly where my mind will go sometimes. Like, mom guilt will kick in, or there
Right.
be this space where it's like, okay, well, you should be able to navigate being a mom and owning a business and showing up as a daughter. Like you should
Hmm.
be able to navigate all of those things. So the spiraling begins with me around like expectations, and let me be clear, unrealistic expectations. Sometimes I place on myself or I allow other people to place on me,
Hmm.
that'll begin to show up, and just guilt around it. And even as you said, shame around asking for help, or even saying like, okay, maybe let me say, you know what, I need to do these things today, so let me see if her dad can take off, which naturally he's like, I'll take off, and I'm like, no, 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 you go to work, I work from home anyway. So
Yep.
again, things around that, you work from home, you own your business, you can have more flexibility in your schedule. And it's like, girl, please, yes, all of those things are true, and this still can exist. It can still be a lot to navigate this, and be grateful for how you can navigate it differently from other people.
Yeah. You work from home. That the optimal word is you're working.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what other people do, but I know in our field of work, although it is not physical labor involved,
Mm, girl.
yeah, it can. There are some days are lighter than others, and but a
Hmm.
lot of days are not because we are really intentional about being present for our clients and holding space for them, and that
Yeah.
requires a lot of energy, mental energy that sometimes you're like, thank you, Lord, for giving me what I need to be able to hold the space. Because on my own, I know I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Um, do you feel like? Because I think part of what I know to be true is that the stories we tell ourselves about who we are and how we show up are
Hmm.
important.
Hmm.
So do you think that it's the interruption itself, like when you mentioned about the kids being out of school and not really knowing, like how
Hmm.
realizing how much that was going to kind of shake things up in your life? Do you think that that was a problem? Or is it what happened after the interruption? Like once you were actually in the midst of the days of school, or with school being closed and all the days passing by, like you mentioned, the guild and all of that.
Hmm. I think it's what happens after, for me personally. Because I feel like that's where, as you mentioned, the spiraling, the story that we tell ourselves, like the things that we kind of say, leads to a space of shame. It leads to a place of guilt, as I mentioned. And then I start to, question, okay, well, you normally work out, or you normally do
Yep.
this. So
Yep.
now you're quitting on this. Now
Yep.
you can't follow through with this. Here you go again. You can't be consistent. You can't, follow through with what you say you want. And I get wrapped up in, sometimes if it doesn't look a certain way, or it's not step by step,
Hmm.
that I am afraid I will completely like just quit or give up on it
Yes.
or not show up. And that's just in specific areas. It's not every area, because there
No.
are some areas that I'm like, okay, I missed this day here, but I'm gonna pick right back up. Then there are other times where it's like, oh girl, here you go. If you don't follow through with this, it's gonna be yet another thing that you quit, or yet another thing that you couldn't do or you wouldn't do. So for me, it's after. It's honestly what happens after. It's because it's the story that I'm telling myself, and then like what I'm feeding the story, how I'm watering the story, and not really like calming myself down, taking myself out of the chaos. I'm going
Hmm.
deeper. I'm digging a deeper hole each time.
Yes. Yes. Well, and the truth is, um, and this may be true for our listeners, I'll speak for me. I am 100% of the time doing that in isolation.
Yeah.
I am not, I haven't ever gone through a series of, I'm gonna call them little episodes where I'm telling myself all these crazy things that
Hmm.
I know I should not be talking to myself or about myself in that way. And I'm not responding to text messages.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not going to do no lunch dates with friends.
Hmm.
I'm not hard talking to my mama much because I already know her. The Holy Spirit gonna tell her something to say to me,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna have to get myself together. I'm not.
Yeah.
So, but if I allow myself to be cared for the way I care for other women,
Hmm.
other people, I
Hmm.
reach out. Hey, y'all, I don't know what I need. I need something.
Yeah.
Because sometimes even with the parenting thing is I need to talk to one of my friends who's been a mom longer than me or been
Yeah.
married longer than me or something like that who I know will pray for me or give me something really practical I can do. But I'm definitely not when I am trying to perfect my life.
Mm, yeah.
When I'm trying to perfect my life, I'm not calling you. I don't
Yeah.
about what. So
Yeah.
you can read me.
No, that is so true because I was going to ask you, do you feel like that is the perfectionist part sometimes
Mm-hmm.
showing up? Like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I don't want people to hear
Mm-mm.
in my terms, my mini crash out. Like,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
enough that my husband is already here hearing me crash out on the low and probably looking at me like, girl, what is
Yeah.
going
And
on
he
with
is.
you?
And he is.
And sometimes he will be like, "What's happening right now?
Mhm.
What are we going through?"
Right.
But I am with you. For me, it's like, I'll follow up with people, but I am not as open with what I
Oh
am
yeah.
trying to navigate. So, like, I'm gonna respond to a question if they reach out to me. I'm gonna
Mhm.
respond about
Right.
the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
show.
Yeah. Yeah. It's generic though.
It's very generic. It's very
Hmm.
basic. When I'm in the middle of my mini crash outs, I don't say much about what's happening. But then when I pull myself out of it and I feel like, okay, the version that I know is coming back, then I'm willing to share a little bit more about what I'm
Yeah.
going through. So to me, it sounded like, oh shoot, that might be the perfectionist part of me sometimes
Hmm.
trying to show up, wanting to keep that part,
Yeah.
closed off and then share this with other people. But it leads me to this question being that you actually said that. What's one way you feel like perfectionism shows up when you are trying to get back on track? So when you said, like I'm trying to perfect my life or get my life
Hmm.
together, what does that look like for you?
Oh, it's never the right time.
Hmm.
It's never. It's always I got to do one more thing to make sure that things are aligned.
Yeah.
Or they look a certain way. To me, I'm not really as concerned about how it looks to other people. But in my mind, it
Yeah.
needs to look a certain way, be a certain way, feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Money needs to look a certain way in a bank account, or the schedule needs to have this amount of time available, or
Hmm.
um, things need to be a certain. And I want to do it perfectly. I'm definitely not using that word.
Yeah.
My actions are showing that I'm not, if it's not a certain way, then why even bother? What's the point? And that definitely 100% of the time keeps me stuck. So then what happens is I move from trying to make things perfect and I know they can't be to now I'm just procrastinating.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm frozen.
Yeah, I think that is actually what it looks like for so many of us as women. Like when we are trying to get our lives back on track, in whatever way we define that, or we're trying to, work through some of those disruptions we're experiencing in
Hmm.
our lives. A lot of times we do get stuck in the, hey, it needs to look a certain way. We need to have it this way. It needs to be at this time. We need to, for me, I'll say things like, well, Monday is a fresh start. Let me just wait until
Oh,
Monday.
girl.
Girl, I know it's wild. I'm trying to release myself from that, but even just the thought of that, like, okay, we're approaching a new week. I can try to do this differently during this week. I can show up. And so, yeah, we get stuck in, I wanted to look a certain way. I wanted to feel a certain way. I know for
Yes.
me, I
Yeah.
also want a specific feeling attached to it. And I don't even know if that feeling aligns with the goal or the thing that I'm working on at the time, but I kind of generalize the feeling to be the same for every
Yeah.
situation. And
Yeah.
that just keeps me stuck automatically.
Yeah, right. Well, and sadly enough, because we, air quotes, know better,
Yeah.
at no point did y'all hear us say we stop and we pray and we ask God to,
No.
and that is not, y'all don't do that.
Yeah.
One of the intentions I have set for myself for at the end of the year for this year. And so I tried to practice it a little bit more. I'm not
Hmm.
going to perfect it because that's not the expectation God has for me,
Yeah.
but to consult Him about even the small things.
Mm.
I know I tend to go to God, and not necessarily with huge things, because I talk to Him about a lot of different things. But I mean, what is it? Who is it that I need to support today? The
Mm.
clients that I have to see, God, give me what I need to be able to encourage them today.
Hmm.
Or if this is a session where I need to keep my mouth closed, God, help me to be able to be quiet,
Hmm.
right? Because sometimes, well, that's another conversation.
Yeah.
Um, how much should I go to the gym? How much time should I spend at the gym today? What is it I need to be eating today? Who is it I need to be talking to today? I want to be in a place where my conversations with God are more like that, because I
Yeah.
know that what was going to happen inevitably is there'll be
Yeah.
less of that negative, toxic talking that I'm doing when I feel like I gotta, like you said, wait till Monday. Why?
Yeah.
What's going to be different about Monday?
Yeah.
And today is Wednesday. Like, why do I have to wait until Monday?
Yeah.
So God help me, give me the courage to be able to restart
Mm.
if that's what you want from me,
Yeah.
or pause if that's what you want from me, or to just resume
Mm.
if that's what you want from me. That's how I want to grow in my
Yeah.
faith. So since I mentioned restarting, Felicia, tell me, why do you think we do restart everything instead of resuming? Why do we have to wait till Monday to start the diet or the exercise plan?
Mm. Mm. Even for me, I think the idea of just like restarting versus resuming, sometimes it's because it feels cleaner. I mean, like when you restart, it feels like, okay, I I get a new opportunity to do something different. So I get to wipe my slate clean. I don't have to sit with some of the behavior, some of the choices, or even actions that I made when, I kind of felt like I was off track. I think, when we think about resuming, it feels messy. If we can be honest, it just feels like, hey,
I don't get to erase the old stuff, the old
yeah.
decisions that I made, or the choices I
Yes,
made.
it just feels very messy. And when we restart, it can feel like, again, a clean slate. We get to do something different. I think also sometimes, if we can be honest, what I've heard through sessions and what I've experienced for myself is that we think that starting over erases guilt. It's just what it is. We feel like, when we restart, it gives us an opportunity to kind of like move away from some of the shame that we're
Mm-hmm.
experiencing. And sometimes when we are like, we pause and then we actually resume from the place that we paused at, it can feel like, why am I sitting with this? And why is this coming with me again? What do you want me to do with this? Especially if it was was chaos, if it felt chaotic, if the week felt chaotic, if we had a situation or relationships in our lives that feel chaotic, we get to start fresh. And I think all of us will say we like a fresh start. we
Yes, we
we
do.
don't often want to start, pause and then resume. We just want to completely start over. But I think that also comes with control. We love to control the way things play out, and that
Yeah.
plays into the perfectionism that we talked about before. And I also think that kind of plays into motivation. We get to control our motivation again from the beginning
Yeah.
versus
Right.
trying to get motivated from this point after we hit pause.
Right. So during the pause, then what we think we building up our momentum again. That's what we tell
Hmm.
ourselves.
Hmm.
I'm getting prepared for
Yeah.
the restart for the Monday, right? I'm going to go to the store and buy all the things and
Yeah.
go buy all the workout clothes and I need all these things.
Yeah.
So I'm being more productive.
Yes. And
That's what we
that's what
tell
it
ourselves.
is. That's what we tell ourselves. Restart means we're being productive. But if we can be honest, sometimes we get stuck in I'm going to start over so I can be productive in a way that we completely avoid it. So
Yeah.
as you mentioned earlier, we just shut down, we kind of freeze, we don't do anything, and we allow the stories to unfold. And that's where the guilt and the shame kind of settles in, and we don't make any moves. Whatever that move could be, we don't start to move.
Yeah. Yeah, no, nothing happens. You're right.
Yeah. So even with that, thinking about like restarting or just like resuming from the place that we're at, sometimes when we experience like these interruptions in life, do you feel like there is something that happens in our bodies, or even as some people will say, like the nervous system giving us,
Oh, yeah.
some warnings? What would you say kind of shows up?
So automatically our brain shifts into survival mode.
Hmm.
When life is going, 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 things feel nonstop, your nervous system focuses on what's urgent, what needs to be done right now. I don't have I don't have the capacity to navigate anything else. So there's kids, work,
Yeah.
bills. Um, Unfortunately, sometimes just partner or spouse takes a back seat
Hmm.
because it just depends on how you're wired, right? It does not allow your brain is not thinking about like what is meaningful or important sometimes. It's what has to be done.
Hmm.
So things like focusing on your own personal goals, like you mentioned, working out, like us recording a podcast, those things automatically take a back seat to
Hmm.
the stuff that we feel like we got to get done because we're trying to survive. And
Yeah.
then let's add in things like decision fatigue, right? So
Hmm.
every time I turn around, I got to make another decision. How
Yeah.
many times have you stepped away and found a dark space to go and cry? Or stepped in the shower because it's like, "Ah, here again,
Yeah. Yeah.
something else.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to decide. Y'all pick. I don't want to have to pick
Right.
anything else because there's too many decisions I've already had to make. And a lot of people are talking about things like the invisible load and things like that because it's true. A lot of people, I'll speak for women, a lot of us are making decisions that nobody is giving us credit
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you work from home, I think it's worse sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Because your people don't know. Like I'm not just sitting here painting my nails.
Right.
I gotta think about the next thing I gotta think about.
Yeah.
I have a plan. I still gotta plan meals. Bills still have to be paid. Laundry
Yeah.
still has to be done. All these things still have to be done. Yes, it's some of that easier because I'm at home. Yeah, but I'm still exhausted.
Yeah.
And so because sometimes I'm so exhausted, I freeze. Everybody's stress response is different, right? We
Mhm.
have fight, flight, freeze,
Mhm.
and mine is freeze. That looks
Yeah.
like procrastination.
Yeah.
I'm not lazy at all, but I when I get
Same.
overloaded,
That's it. Yeah.
nothing's getting done.
No, that
That
is
I know
real.
it's an automatic response. That is how my body chooses to
Yeah.
protect me when I am overloaded. So
Yeah.
it's going to slow me down.
Yep.
And that looks like avoiding things.
Hmm.
It looks like it, y'all. I'm not gonna get it done. I'm gonna binge watch the show on Netflix, and it's gonna be good, and all it's
Yeah.
gonna be right in my world.
Yes, 100% the same. I will procrastinate. As you mentioned, I'm not a lazy person. When things need to get done, I'm going to be on it, but I will procrastinate. I'm also one that I'll feel like, okay, well, let me start this here. Let me do this project. Let me do this project. So I'm jumping from thing to thing just to feel like I'm being productive, and then I crash, and I crash in a way of which I'm watching TV. I'm not doing anything. I
Mhm.
and it's not that there is anything wrong with that. I'm just taking my attention to something else, and it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like that is helping me either. It's just like a
Right.
distraction from what is really going on at the moment.
Right. Yeah. So then, do you think? And you and I both admitted that during those times we don't ask for help.
Hmm.
We don't. So do you think that that's a common struggle for a lot of women?
I do. I don't want to speak for others, but I do agree. From just having conversations with women from, different age groups too, it turns into a space of like not wanting to ask for help, or even the thought of not wanting to disappoint anyone. So it's like, I'm gonna do the things, but I'm not gonna do them well, or even as I'm gonna go into isolation.
Yeah.
It's what you mentioned before. Like, I'm just gonna stay to myself. I am not gonna ask for help. I just
Mm.
feel like I'm guilty for resting, so I don't even want to tell people that I'm resting. I
Oh
think
gosh.
we just all experience some of
Yeah.
the same things. Some people will completely avoid tasks. Some people will double down on doing things, just
Mhm.
to feel like they are accomplishing something. But yes.
Yeah. So something that so we both admitted something that we probably didn't think we were going to admit in this conversation,
Hmm.
that we do kind of isolate or kind of like a baby or mini isolation, right? We don't totally cut
Hmm.
everybody off, but y'all just not going to hear from us in the same way.
Yeah.
We have our little mini crash outs. We overwhelmed, and that's separate from the you just need to rest. That's
Yeah.
not what we're talking about.
No.
Um, but I guess what I'm thinking about is the woman who's listening, who's like, okay, well, I know this interruption is coming, right? Since we went to school, spring break is coming. So you
Hmm.
mean to tell me every time a break comes, this is how I'm going to feel, this is what I'm going to go through?
Yeah.
And the answer is likely yes, if you don't have a plan in place for yourself, if you've told yourself you cannot ask for help, if you've
Hmm.
convinced yourself that nobody can do it like you can do it, so you're the only one who should do it,
Hmm.
if you continue to tell yourself these negative, unhelpful things, then yeah, you can plan to be stressed and overwhelmed at the next interruption,
Yeah.
because we don't have the healthiest or most sustainable plan in place. So I already know that because we're having this conversation, that Felicia and I are going to be really intentional with how we take care of ourselves and each other during
Yeah.
the next upcoming break.
Yes. Agreed. So, okay, even with that, as you mentioned, just being intentional with taking care of ourselves, but also taking care of your sister or the other women that are in your lives
Mhm.
that are going through things as well. What is one sentence or one thing that you would tell any woman that kind of feels behind right now?
Mm.
Really something that, she can kind of say to herself when she's feeling tempted to quit or to give up or throw in the towel? What would you
Okay.
say?
Um, I'd say what I said to myself, that all of my progress still counts.
Hmm.
Um, that I don't have to keep restarting. I could just pause and then I can resume. That I can carry everything to God through prayer. I don't have to try to figure it out on
Yeah.
my own. Just
Yeah.
because I pause don't mean I'm stopping. We talked about this right before recording. Like there's some things that I've had to pause. I am not stopping and
Yeah.
I'm definitely not restarting. I am definitely not restarting. Or trying to start it over or start it again or try to perfect it. I'm pausing it, then
Yeah.
I unpause or resume
Yeah.
when I know it's the right time.
Yeah.
Um, so, what about you? What are you thinking, or what's something you would want to say to yourself?
Some of the same things that you mentioned, like I don't have to restart. I can just pause and resume like from where I'm at. But another one is just like I say this often in sessions, like you're not behind. Like you're not behind in life. You are not failing. Like it is okay for things to happen in your life because you're human. So just because things happen, you don't automatically have to go to a space of just like judging yourself, being
Mm-hmm.
filled with guilt, being filled with shame. That's something that I'm also telling myself. Like just because I envision something to look or be a specific way and it's not happening, it
Yeah,
will not take away from what I've done and what I will continue to do. I'm
right.
human. Things happen. I'm not behind. Like, keep going. And whatever version of the going is for you, in air quotes, like, do that. Just
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like you have to shut down, or even something that I'm going to work on is like, isolate myself because I have the proper tools and the words to ask for help. I just
Mm-hmm.
need to do it.
Yes, you just got to do it.
Yeah.
No matter the help doesn't have to be big.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, like you said, asking your husband to take the time off of work or change
Mm-hmm.
his schedule up a little bit
Mm-hmm.
or handle bedtime routine so
Yeah.
that you can take a break from doing it or whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
Um, Most of us don't ask for help until we are drowning, unfortunately,
Yeah. That is
until it's
real.
too late. And we are blessed to have husbands who notice.
Yeah.
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 Or they just like you getting on my nerves, so tell me
Yeah.
what's up so we can move
That
on.
part too.
But whatever it is, whatever the reason.
That part too.
So, I think the offer, asking for help, accepting the help or the support.
Yeah. And the help and the support, I love that you mentioned, sometimes I just want to acknowledge that it doesn't always have to be surrounding your kids. It can be like, hey, to a friend, did you cook extra dinner tonight? You think I
Girl.
can come over? You think you got a plate? Or, it can
Mm-hmm.
even be something like, hey, I am having an off week where I feel like I cannot like find my footing. I can't
Mm-hmm.
get myself going. Can you give me some words of encouragement?
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
share what ways you are able to navigate this? I know there are times, I've reached out to you like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is happening. Hey, what would you do? Like,
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
even sent her a voice note before and say like, hey, it's so much going on. I just need you to drop a word of prayer. Like, I don't
Right.
need you to do anything in terms of showing up in that way. I just need you to pray for me, or I need you to pray for my family, whatever that looks like. So in whatever way you need help, just kind of put yourself out there with people that you feel safe with. That's the thing. I think
Yes.
a lot of times we're trying to seek help from people that we don't even feel safe asking for help. So let's go to our trusted people that we are able to even let our guards down just a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's good. I sent a friend recently. I sent her a voice note, and then after I recorded it, I sent another text. I was like, "Hey, trigger warning, trigger warning." I said it first. So before you listen, just wanted you to know. But I needed to share, and she shared with me that she was filled with gratitude that I trusted her enough to be able to share with her, and it wasn't nothing, well, I guess it was life changing in that that was another opportunity for me to practice being vulnerable and letting
Mhm.
someone show up for me, someone that I trust show up for me in a
Yeah.
way that I show up for others and I don't even second guess it when I
Yeah.
do the same thing for someone else. So actually practicing, allowing people to love on me the way I love on them.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I love that.
Philippians 1 and 6 says, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. In this chapter, Paul is talking to the Christians in Philippi, and what he's reminding them of is the same thing that I'm hoping that you all are getting from this conversation. Um, God has got the long game in mind for us. So we don't have to try to work out every little intricate detail of our life, and we don't have to perfect this path, this journey that we're on. So when life interruptions happen, and we felt like we paused things too long, or we starting again and again and again, and we feel like we're messing up, it's okay. It is
Hmm.
all right. There is no expectation for us to do things perfectly. The work that he has begun in us is still going to be seen through to the end. Sometimes we do miss the mark. I
Hmm.
think sometimes you feel like you miss your moment or your season, because we made a mistake or we've been frozen too long. We can talk about that in another episode. But God is our God, the God I choose to believe in and love and trust. He is never out of options for me. So
Yeah.
even in my imperfect times when I miss the mark or I pause too long or I'm frozen too long, he's still working things out behind the scenes. I choose to believe that. My life has been, I've seen that evidence of that so many more times than I can even count, that when I thought it was it, God was like, no, wait, here you
Yep.
go. No,
Yep.
I got you. I got you.
Yep.
You're gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be okay. The things always end up turning out way better than I could have even planned.
Yeah.
He'll always bring us back in ways that we might not expect. So just trust him. He's
Mm.
got the best plans for
Yeah.
us if we just trust him and seek him first. Yeah,
Yes.
that's my 2 cents about that.
I love that. So that also leads us into one thing that we love to do on the podcast is leave you all with some fuel for the road ahead. So we wanted to give you two takeaways that will help you move throughout this week and this year in general. I feel like they'll be helpful beyond this conversation that we're having this week. But the first one is we've mentioned this throughout the episode, but resume, don't restart. So even when it feels like life is interrupting you, don't reset your whole life. Just resume with one small step. So even if that is writing a note of, you know what, I'm going to get up today, even if that's, you know what, instead of me binge watching this 30-minute episode, I'm a journal for 5 minutes. I'm a journal for 5 minutes and then I'll go to the episode, at least to release some of the things that I'm feeling. If it's, you know what, I didn't make it to the gym on Tuesday, so it feels like I am completely done with the week. Girl, use Tuesday and Wednesday, whatever day as the rest day, and go to the gym the next day, whatever it is. It doesn't have to, consistency does not mean it needs to look the same all the time. You don't have to keep the same days of the week, the same time.
Right.
Sometimes consistency looks like resuming. It looks like taking a pause and then picking up where you left off.
Yeah, I like that. I think the gym is a big thing for a lot of people, gyms and diets,
Hmm.
especially this time of year.
Yeah.
And if you can't do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, if you miss Monday, just go Tuesday. It's okay.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
it. Sometimes your work schedule or whatever, life doesn't
Right.
allow that to happen. But
Right.
you don't have to wait till Monday again.
Yeah. Right. And don't let those people on the internet fool you and say, you know, never miss a Monday. Girl, miss the Monday. Take
That's
care of yourself
okay.
and then do your own thing. Like,
Yeah.
do not read too deep into that.
Right, I agree. One question we want you all to think about, want to leave you with is if, and I'm gonna say actually probably
Yeah. Let's change that to when.
when life interrupts you again this week or next week, What would it look like for you to respond differently this time? When the interruption happens, what could it look like for you to respond in a different way?
Yeah.
How are you going to talk to yourself in a different way? How are you going to show up for yourself in a different way this time? It's
Yeah.
okay if you felt like, you know what, the last 10 times I didn't, it doesn't matter. How are you going to choose? What choice are you going to make? What different choice are you going to make this
I
next
like that one. I
time?
like the way you reframe that.
Yeah. So remember, the goal is to make some progress, not try
Yes.
to perfect the process, to not try to perfect the journey.
Agreed.
You agree?
I agree.
Yes, we were reminding ourselves of the same thing, y'all.
We are. And you better believe we send each other these accountability voice notes like, girl, what you resting? Are you doing
Mhm.
this? So yes, we are there with you 100%. We just want to say thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you are listening to the audio version, make sure you head over to YouTube because you can see us on video, and you can see all of our facial expressions, which sometimes are too funny, and we be telling ourselves before we record, like, control your face, don't do this. Don't do that. But again, please make sure that you go over to YouTube, subscribe. Don't forget to comment, share, like, share it with your friends and family, and also look at the show notes if you are listening to this through an audio platform, and sign up for our email community. We send out emails weekly with a lot of gems and some additional takeaways from the episode.
All right. Thank y'all so much for listening. We will check in with y'all next week.
All right. Bye.